AITAH, if I don't want to pay for my friends and want to be informed earlier? Every few weeks, my friends and I go out to eat on Sundays. We usually split the bill equally, but if someone doesn't have enough, they pay what they can, and the rest of us cover it. I always pay my share fully. Recently, 2 of my friends have been going out without inviting me. Half the time, I'm not included, even when I'm free, because they don't bother to mention it. Last week, I found out they went out without me, even though they knew I would have joined if invited. Our schools closed recently due to environmental pollution, and we shifted to online classes. I'm serious about my studies and never miss any class, but those 2 often skip them. Last week, my family went out of town for 2 days to visit relatives. On Saturday, one of my friends called, saying they were coming over to my house the next day and that we were going out. They also said I should bring extra money because they had already spent all theirs. They had run out of their allowance, which they spent earlier on an occasion I wasn't even invited to. My allowance is smaller than theirs, and what seems like a reasonable amount to them is a lot for me. My parents don't give extra money easily, and they're not even fond of me going out. I told my friend they should have saved and waited until they had enough. I also said they should have let me know earlier, at least a day or 2 before planning. They didn't even ask if I was okay with their plan. They just said, "We'll be at your house, and be ready to go, and bring extra money." I wasn't happy with that. I told them I wasn't in town and wouldn't be back until Monday morning. He called again next night and repeated the same thing. The next morning, I told them to wait until I confirmed. I got delayed because of road closures and smog, and when I finally got home, I found they had been waiting outside my house for an hour. I told him, "Who told you to wait outside? I messaged you to wait." But still, they waited. He said to get tomorrow. I repeated everything. I felt like I wasn't being treated fairly. They were acting like I was obligated to go, pay more than usual, and sacrifice my studies. I told him I wouldn't miss my classes, and neither would my parents allow that. He doesn't even sacrifice his stuff. But it seemed like he didn't care about my priorities and kept insisting I go. He even accused me of freeloading, despite me always paying my share, even though my allowance is smaller than his. He spends his money on unnecessary things, which he admits, but expects me to help cover for him. It feels like he's taking me for granted, and I'm being called the asshole for standing up for myself. AITAH? Edit. Also a thing to keep in mind, we got out once after a few weeks. We went out 2 weeks ago, they went without me and now want to go again, and I didn't even get a say, which I set him to at least give.